With the first official teaser trailer of Deadpool 3 coming out just next weekend during the Super Bowl, I thought now would be a perfect time to give you guys my top 5 wish list for Deadpool 3. This is the only MCU film releasing this year, and in this video I'm going to tell you guys 5 things that I think this film needs in order to be a huge hit. If you're new to this channel and this is your first time watching one of my videos, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000 subs. I can't believe we're getting so close. You guys are the best. Yes, you. But with that out of the way, let's get into number 5. Number 5, I want to see the kind of obvious thing, and that's cameos galore. The whole idea behind this film is we have 2 characters from the Fox universe making their way into the Marvel universe, or the MCU. We've got Deadpool and we've got Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Is this the version of Wolverine that we've seen in previous X-Men films? We're gonna have to wait and see, because if you've seen Logan, you know what happens at the end of that film. I'm not sure how they're going to pull that off, but they have said that the ending of Logan, it's its own thing. They're not touching that, so they're still gonna honor that, but tell another story with Wolverine. And since Marvel has bought the rights to all of these Fox characters a couple years ago now, they're actually going to be able to use them. We saw Beast in the post-credit scene for the Marvels, and we're now seeing Hugh Jackman return as Wolverine in the MCU, and now I'm hoping we see tons of other Fox characters. And not just the X-Men. Yes, it would be great to see the likes of Jean Grey, Nightcrawler, Cyclops, and all of the characters from the original X-Men movies that Kevin Feige actually worked on, but there's also a super high chance we're going to see other Marvel characters from the Fox universe, such as the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four and the casting for the MCU version has been, going crazy with speculation on who's going to play what character, but for Deadpool 3, it looks like we may be getting our original cast back in this film. The original Fantastic Four movies were ones that I grew up on, and it would be hilarious if we see Chris Evans reprise his role as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, knowing him from, the MCU as Captain America. There were also rumors that Jennifer Garner and possibly Ben Affleck could be returning as Daredevil and Elektra in this movie as well. So the possibilities are endless. I could speculate for hours on all the different cameos that could possibly pop up in this film, but as a baseline, I want to say, look, I want to see some X-Men characters, and I want to see some other out-of-the-box Marvel characters that the MCU hasn't really gotten to play with yet. And number 4, I want this film to stay true to the Deadpool formula, and I want it to be hilarious, I want it to be raunchy, I want it to be rated R to the max. We know that Marvel Studios is starting to delve into the more mature titles and mature themes, but with Echo, I feel like they were marketing it as such a brutal show, and we didn't get to see as much as maybe some people would have liked. If you go back and watch the first Deadpool movies, those are very dark, very gritty, very funny, and I want that tone to really just stay for the MCU version. People are going to easily be able to tell if the feel and the tone and the comedy in this movie doesn't match up with the first 2, if they feel like it's watered down or isn't as good as it was previously. So they really have to nail that. And that's who Wade Wilson's character is. Deadpool is the mark with a mouth. He's supposed to be funny, and the first 2 movies are hilarious, so if they could pull it off in the third one by attaching it to the MCU and still keep that hard edge, that would be great. This kind of ties into my number 3 spot, which is I want this film to tell a very grounded story in an otherwise crazy multiversal setting. The premise of this movie seems to be that Wolverine and Deadpool are kind of teaming up and going through different multiverses, and the TVA gets involved somehow, and that's all we really know so far. There is a leaked description for the trailer that's supposed to play next week, but I'm not going to get into that because I want to just see it when it comes out. The first 2 Deadpool movies do a great job of being wacky and fun, but also have a very core theme and value to them. The themes of the first 2 Deadpool movies are relatively simple. For example, in the first one, it's coming to terms. Wade Wilson has been disfigured and he wants revenge, and he doesn't think he can live this life as this ugly human being, and he has to come to terms with that, amongst other things. And then Deadpool 2 really just centers around family in the most simple way. And I think these themes that are present in the first 2 Deadpool movies, being very surface level but also deep at the same time, but being a simple concept, are extremely beneficial to these films, and I hope the third one does the same, going even crazier with the multiverse. Keep the message clean and keep it clear, something that everyone can understand, even if they don't understand all the multiverse stuff that's going on. Number 2, I want to see Deadpool transition into the MCU fully. We know he's going to be interacting with a bunch of characters from the Fox universe, universe, but I want to see Deadpool interact with our MCU heroes. This is the transition period of Deadpool from those previous films to the modern day MCU, and they really got to nail it here. Kind of adding to that, I think that this movie would really benefit for a lot of subtle, under the table jokes that kind of pick fun at things that are going on in the real world, such as the closure of Fox Studios, Disney buying them, and now Deadpool having to change because he's owned by Mickey Mouse. Things like that are going to be hilarious, and I'm sure there's going to be tons of it in the film. Number one, it's kind of weird. I just want to be able to leave this movie excited for the future of the MCU. Again, I know that kind of sounds weird, but I want by the end of this movie to be extremely intrigued by what they've set up with these characters transitioning, and I want to start seeing the connective tissue between all of the other Marvel projects. Right now we have a street level Marvel universe as well as the cosmic, and while they're connected, it feels like a lot of the projects aren't really tagging off of each other. It used to be where we would get a film and then the next film or the film after that, it would pay off. We have so many different IP, we have so many different characters and stories that are being told. It's kind of hard to get that overarching progression between stories. And I hope Deadpool 3 does that, because the ending of Loki sets up the future in a way. So does the ending of What If Season 2 in a way. But I want things set in stone, and I want the mutants to be officially established by the end of this film in the MCU. We know Namor and Kamala Khan are mutants, and those are the first two mutants that we have in the MCU. If you don't count Monica Rambeau in the end of Marvels, maybe she's a mutant as well. But let's transition all of these characters and maybe not bring them into the MCU, but set up their characters in the Marvel universe that we know. And by this, I mean maybe we can have Hugh Jackman pass the torch to the Wolverine or the Logan that exists already in the MCU that hasn't turned into Wolverine yet. I don't know, I just was thinking of a scene where Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is sitting at a bar having a drink with the MCU Logan, and him kind of passing the torch, because Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire, those guys started it all with the Marvel movies, and to have him pass the torch while we already had Tobey pass the torch to Tom in No Way Home, it would just be poetic. I'm not saying I want all of them to die, and I don't think that's going to happen, because we have Secret Wars coming up, and the whole idea of Secret Wars is having all of these characters present. But overall, just establish the mutants as a rising thing in the MCU. Most importantly, I want to know what you guys are most excited for with Deadpool 3, so leave those comments. I read every single one, and I most likely will respond. So with that, I will see you very soon.